Hey class, and welcome to lesson 11.3. Let's begin by taking a look at our essential question. How can you classify and compare quadrilaterals? Well, this is just taking it one step further from our classifying triangles. And remember, we classify triangles according to two things, the length of their sides and the measure of their angles. So let's begin answering our essential question by taking a look at our word problem. A seating chart for a baseball field has many four-sided figures, or quadrilaterals. What type of quadrilaterals can you find in the seating chart? There are 5 special types of quadrilaterals. You can classify quadrilaterals by their properties, such as parallel sides and perpendicular sides. Parallel sides are lines that are always the same distance apart. Perpendicular lines are lines that intersect to form 4 right angles. So let's begin by taking a look at the definition for all the words, the vocabulary words that we have so far. So four-sided figures or quadrilaterals. So quadrilateral is a four-sided figure. Remember, quad means four. There are 5 special types of quadrilaterals. So we're going to be with parallel lines are lines that are always the same distance apart. Perpendicular lines are lines that intersect to form 4 right angles. This right here is going to be an example of perpendicular lines, how it forms to make 4 right angles. Okay, and these right here are examples of parallel lines because they will run forever and never intersect. So let's begin by comparing the sentence that describes each type of quadrilateral. So a general quadrilateral has 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 sides and 4 angles, 1, 2, 3, 4. A parallelogram has opposite sides that are congruent or the same length and parallel. So on this parallelogram, we see that this side and this side are congruent, and this side and this side are congruent and parallel. Now another type of parallelogram, remember this was the first one, a parallelogram. Another type of quadrilateral is a rectangle. And this is a special parallelogram with 4 right angles and 4 pairs of perpendicular sides. So we have this one and this one are congruent. This one and this one are congruent. This one and this one are also parallel, and this one and this one are also parallel. But if we look, we will also see that it forms perpendicular sides. Now, a rhombus, which is another quadrilateral, is a special parallelogram with 4 congruent sides. So this one, this one, this one, and this one are all the same length. Now, let's take a look at another example of a parallelogram. A square is a special parallelogram with 4 congruent sides and 4 right angles. So this one, this one, this one, and this one are all congruent, and all the angles formed are right angles. A trapezoid, which is our last quadrilateral, is a quadrilateral with exactly 1 pair of parallel sides. And that's going to be, in this example, this one and this one are going to be parallel. If you look at this one, if we extended it out long enough along with this one, they will eventually intersect because you can see how they continue to grow closer and closer and closer together. So the types of quadrilaterals you can find in the seating chart of the field are parallelograms, which is this one, a rectangle, which is this one, a rhombus, which is this one, a square, and a trapezoid. So you should have that, all of those in your answer. Now, let's take a look at our activity for this lesson. So, You can use a Venn diagram to sort quadrilaterals and find out how they are related. So we got to draw the diagram. We have that below on your, got our diagram. It says to complete the sentences by writing always, sometimes, or never. So a rhombus is sometimes a square. A rhombus is sometimes a square. A parallelogram is sometimes a rectangle. A rhombus is always a parallelogram. A trapezoid is never a parallelogram. A square is always a rhombus. So when we're looking at our Venn diagram for quadrilaterals and we're looking at the one for parallelograms, up here we could have examples. Okay, and in our rhombuses we could draw examples of rhombuses. And again, of course mine aren't going to be perfect based upon the fact that I'm shorthanding it in here. But in here we could draw squares. And mine may not look like perfect squares. And then over here we draw examples of rectangles. Okay, and then down here we have examples of trapezoids. Okay. Now, explain why the circle for parallelograms does not intersect the circle for trapezoids. And the reason for that is a parallelogram has two pairs of parallel sides. A trapezoid only has one pair of parallel sides. So again, a parallelogram has two pairs of parallel sides. A trapezoid has exactly one pair of parallel sides. And then we're going to skip number 2 where it says to draw a quadrilateral with 4 pairs of perpendicular sides and 4 sides. And we're going to jump over and do number 1, 2, and 3 under share and show. All right, so let's take a look at our share and show. It says to use quadrilateral A, B, C, and D to answer each question. Complete the sentence. So, are any of the sides congruent? Well, based upon the type of quadrilateral it is, we know that this side and this side are the same length, and this side and this side are the same length, or congruent. So we do know that there are 2 sets of sides that are congruent, or yes. How many right angles, if any, does the quadrilateral have? Well, we see this angle is definitely less than 90, or acute. This angle is greater than 90, or obtuse. This angle is greater than 90, or obtuse. And this angle is less than 90, or acute. So it has 0 right angles. How many pairs of parallel sides, if any, does the quadrilateral have? Well, this side and this side are parallel, and this side and this side are parallel. So it has 2 pairs of parallel sides. So quadrilateral A, B, C, and D is a parallelogram. So for questions 2 and 3, it says to classify the quadrilateral in as many ways as possible. Write quadrilateral, parallelogram, rectangle, rhombus, square, or trapezoid. So if we look at number 2, we know that it is a quadrilateral because it has 4 sides. We also know that it is a parallelogram because it has 2 sets of parallel sides. And we also know that it is a rectangle because this side and this side are the same length, and this side and this side are the same length, and it has 2 sets of perpendicular sides. So let's look at number 3. We know that it is a quadrilateral because it has 4 sides. And we also know that it is a trapezoid because it only has one set of parallel sides. Okay, be sure to record any new vocabulary along with the definitions in your math journal, and I'll see you in class tomorrow.